Afternoon and happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us on such a unique Sunday afternoon. There's a lot happening. My name is Shirley Planton, and I'm the Chief Executive Consultant for U Turn Youth Consulting. Our job here at U Turn is very simple. We want to highlight the backstories that lead to both the school to prison pipeline and eventually the school and gun violence in our communities. We are out here trying to address many of the issues that's happening and how can we deconstruct those issues so that our youth can succeed. Today, I have the privilege and honor of being surrounded by some of my favorite people. And really, we're going to have a conversation with some young folks who are members of our U-Turn Youth Fellows program, well, Fellows, Scholars program. And really, the idea is a group of young people that are really about community justice issues, that are really about social justice issues, and trying to see what change they can make and how they too can become the change that they want to see. I'm also surrounded by two of my favorite, realest women I know, Miss Sandra Dennis and Miss Katia St. Fleur. Listen, when it comes to me wanting to have a real conversation, these are the sisters I turn to. They don't bite their tongue and they tell you like it is. And I thought that they would be great women to have these conversations with. Also to empower and inspire the younger women on here. And then, of course, I have my team, U-Turn, Jen C, Katia, Steph, who are always doing this work and are really the programming leaders around the U-Turn Youth Scholars Program. So ladies, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. I'm going to start with Sandra Dennis, and then we're going to go around to everyone. We want everyone to know who you are, what grade you're in if you're in school, what do you do if you're not in school. That would be for us, ladies. Um, and let's get the party started. So Sandra, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Sandra Dennis. I am in 12th grade. Joking. I am a collegiate. I have a master's degree, but my background is public health policy. I've been doing work in the nonprofit sector for about 10 years now. Most recently, I am the interim executive director of Miami Worker Center in Liberty City, and I am the president and founder of Island Sands. So I'm super excited to be here on this panel, and I just get a little courage from Katya, and she just pushed me forward. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. I know you got a million things going on. We truly value you being here and giving us some of your time. Miss Katya, you're on mute, baby.
Hey everybody. Like you said, my name is Katia St. Fleur. I am principal owner of KSF and Associates. I'm a consultant. I do government consulting. I do political consulting. I do lobbying. I do outreach work. I am a proud graduate of the HBCU Clark Atlanta University. And I'm excited to be here to talk to these lovely ladies. I love the work that you've been doing for well over a decade now, Dr. Planton. I'm humbled and I'm ready to have this conversation.
Thank you for being here. Jamie.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jamie Carter, and I'm a part of the U-Turn Superior Scholars. I am currently in the 11th grade, and I just want to say thank you for having me.
Thank you. So they have, we call them the U-Turn Youth Scholars. They have affectionately cloned themselves as the Superior Scholars. So, every chance they get, they throw that adjective in there for us. Kiara.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kiara Barton. I'm in the 11th grade. I'm a part of the U-Turn Superior Scholars, and I'm happy to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Jency.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Jency. I help out Dr. Shirley and the U-Turn team as the program's assistant. I'm working directly with the Superior Scholars, and I am currently about to graduate from FIU. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Katia. I don't think she's Stephanie.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephanie Desarmes. I'm the program coordinator for U-Turn Youth. I'm excited to see everybody, and I'm going to be learning just like you guys are going to be learning. Thank you.
Thank you. She is our resident health person who keeps together. So she's trying to do the roles if we don't see her actual face. And then there is the lady I'm looking for, Katia.
Hi, sorry about that. My name is Katia Pierre. I am the administrator for U-Turn Youth Consulting alongside Shirley, Jency, and Stephanie. I got my bachelor's degree and my master's degree in public administration, and I am so happy to be here on this call with you ladies.
Thank you. So now that we all know each other, let's dive right in. So I really want to explain to everyone, this isn't a format, that this is going to be a guided conversation. I really wanted these young ladies, and actually they're representing the rest of the group. There's about 6 or 7 of them, and it is a cohort that we intend to keep together, hopefully until they graduate. And part of this work is really getting them to get their feet wet, to really introduce them to this body of work. Many of them are big on it already. Specifically for Jamie, Jamie's gone through a couple of programming that already does this. So today, this is a roundtable discussion. It isn't a town hall. It's a roundtable discussion where they will get an opportunity to ask questions. We too can ask them questions. So one of the very things at the top of their list that I know they wanted to talk about was really about social justice issues as a result of the George Floyd. So I'm going to throw this over to Jamie and have Jamie ask her a question.
Okay, so my first question, it was, how do you feel about the social injustices that are prominent in our everyday lives?
Sandra, you want to take that one?
Sure. I mean, I feel strongly because many of the folks that we're seeing as it relates to social issues, they look like us. The people who are impacted are us. We struggle because, I can't help but to think of my siblings. I can't help to think about me, and everything that's going on and how we're always negatively impacted. I mean, in terms of social movements, I would say this has been a year, right? A lot has happened. I know I often say students haven't been in school since March, just about to return back to school. They've seen multiple killings on TV, folks who look like them, especially if you're Black in this community. You've seen people die, you've heard of people die. There's been a lot. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is that there are systems that allow for this to happen in this kind of way. And we have to be willing and committed for the long term to dismantle these systems.
Katya, you want to speak to that?
Absolutely. I think that
No,
being a Black woman and being a Haitian woman as well, we all have these feelings, right? So living in a time where we're constantly seeing these injustices play out, you almost feel like you're in a constant state of rage. Someone once said to be an enlightened Negro is to be a Negro who lives in rage constantly. So to constantly see these things, it can make you maybe sometimes try to become apathetic in a way, so that you can turn off those feelings, so that you don't have to constantly be in this state of rage. But I would say to myself and to anyone else who feels this way, not to turn that off, but to move that energy in a direction where we can work towards making a difference. Like Sandra just said, this is work to change a system, and that takes a very long time. The thing that gives me most hope is to see young people like yourself, young people being engaged, young people understanding the importance of being civically active, because that's that's where the change is going to happen. When we start expecting better of the people who represent us, and we start doing better ourselves. So yeah, it's impossible not to be in a constant state of rage with the way that things are going, seeing people murdered and slaughtered and no one having to pay the cost for that.
So I'm going to say one more thing on that one. Katya brought it out of me. I tell y'all, it's Katya. I just remember how young Dr. King was, how young the Freedom Riders were. And many of the folks that we see as big time leaders, they were young. Right. They started off in their 20s, early 30s. when we think about the age that they were assassinated and the work that they were able to do up into that point, they were young people. And so young people have historically been at the forefront of any of these movements. And to echo Katya, for y'all to be on this panel on a Sunday evening brings us so much hope, because we know it starts with you all. It's when young people are frustrated. It's when young people take the streets that we see America move. And not only America, internationally, young people are always at the forefront of any kind of social movements.
Well said. And I think, and I'm going to go to Kiara on that, because I know Kiara's been kind of frustrated. Like, I just don't understand what's so difficult for people to care. That was one of the comments that she said that really resonated with me. To piggyback on Sandra's comment, I know a lot of the that we've marched into have actually been planned by young people, right? We don't often see them, but they're really the in ones putting these protests together, specifically around the whole George Floyd thing. So Kiara, talk about your level of frustration.
Honestly, seeing these social injustices happen every day, it kind of gets to a point where I have no more hope, because it's like every day when you wake up, it's something new. And it's like, when will it stop? Or like, when will it change? And I feel like at one point we have to sit down and think about how are we affecting the issue that's going on, and what can we do as adults to help out what's going on. So I don't know, it's just frustrating as a child to see that every day, either on social media, on the news, on TV. It's like, it's frustrating.
Indeed. Jamie, you want to speak to that, or can I go to Jency? Jamie, you want to speak to that, or can I go to Jency?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, at times, like, it's like overwhelming to the point that I become numb. And at times I feel that I can't do anything, being that I am young. But like you said, Katia and Ms. Sandra and Dr. Shirley, we have a voice, and it's even better for the young people to come to the forefront, because we are so powerful, because we are the next generation. So I have to remind myself that there is hope, and that the more I use my voice, the better things will become. So it does become overwhelming and just tiring at times.
We hear you, Katya. I see your hand, and we're going to go to Jency.
Wanted to say, I encourage you guys to use your voice, not just, oh, I'm going to use my voice, I'm going to say something. Be unapologetic about using your voice.
Right.
Give me Beyonce energy when you are using your voice. Like, the same energy that she brings to the stage. Like, these are issues that are going to affect you for the rest of your lifetime. Mm-hmm. They're going to affect your children, and force people to listen to you. Don't whisper what you have to say. Yeah. Say it loudly, say it boldly, and be unapologetic about it. You know, like, stand in it, stand in your word, stand in what you believe, and we will pay attention, and they will pay attention. And you have Dr. Shirley, you have Sandra, we got your back. Stand firm in what you want to say. Like, you guys are so brilliant. The superior group, that energy is what we need. We need you to, and never stop paying attention to what's happening in your community. So keep that, like, own it. That's what I want to say. I want you to own that energy and stand in it. Even if it's doing a live on Facebook, if someone is listening, someone is paying attention, writing letters, calling elected officials, calling them to the carpet. Girl, listen, you can call a press conference if you want. Like, you guys can do this, and just seeing you guys, just being here on your Sunday shows that you have the ability. So stand firm in that.
Thank you, Jency, and then Katia.
I see where Kiara and Jamie are coming from. I do, because, well, in terms of, it can be easy to become numb to it all, because it's easy to go on Twitter, go on Instagram, and you see one story, but halfway through reading that story, another story pops up, and then you can't even finish the first one because already you're 5, 6, 7 deep, and there's so many stories that are just taking over each other. It is overwhelming. But I think that's something that I've come to learn in all of this, and just seeing what's been going on this past year, just in the short amount of time. A lot of people are thinking that they're going to see change really fast, and it's a little bit hard to believe. That's not going to happen, unfortunately. It's not, just like I think someone said, it's not something that we can just sprint to change. Like, it's literally a marathon. Like, it's things, it's little things here and there that'll help us, change the bigger picture. And it is a little bit frustrating. I'm not going to lie. It's frustrating because you want to see the difference. You don't want to have the generation after you have to be working at the same thing. Like, I wouldn't want my sister to be, she's 13. We're basically 10 years apart. I don't want her to be in her 20s fighting for the same thing I am right now. But I do have to think about my position right now. What I can do is I can start small. Even if it's with my community, at least there I can see change in my community. And I know that that will cause ripples, and it will start affecting, other people. Like Katya said, like, even if it's just one person watching us talk right now, we never know who we're impacting. And they could be in California for all we know, and they're all of a sudden they're inspired to go out and do something different.
So, Katia, I wanted to talk to you because I know we've had conversations where, some of your friends and people in your surrounding are like, they're done. I don't want to do this. I'm frustrated. I don't want to vote. I don't want to hear about no census. But the one thing that's motivating them that we've talked about too is really the social injustice part of it, right? So the George Floyd, and then eventually we're going to really talk about this whole Breonna Taylor thing, because I know that the whole the scholars, that was one of the things that was really poking at them. So I'm gonna give them a chance to speak to that in a minute. So Katia, tell me about some of your feelings of frustration that you're hearing in your circles as millennials that just don't want to be engaged. They don't see the purpose.
Yep, that's exactly it. And it's very depressing because it's just like Jency said, like, you're reading one story, and before you even finish that story, someone else is hurt. Someone else is being mistreated because of how they look or who they are. And it's just like, we're frustrated, especially because it's kind of like, I know my friends and I talk about it all the time. Like, we thought seeing Obama hit in the office was going to be like a whole new thing. And we were like, okay, we can only go up from here. And then right after, it was just like, really like a plot, like, really, bro, like immediately right after. So it's kind of get discouraging, like Jency mentioned, because you feel like you're fighting, and you feel like so many people are fighting for the same thing. And it's just so depressing when you get the news, like someone was shot in their bed and the wall had more justice than them, the ceiling had more justice than them. Like, how fair is that? Like, if as many years as the law has been in place and changes has been made, and it's so easy to get away with that, like to the point where that's happening today, 2020, you would have thought that was something that was happening back in, when they were making Jim Crow laws and when Martin Luther King was around. But no, it's 2020. We have all this technology, we have all these changes, but we're still fighting for the same battle. So it gets a little depressing when, just like Jency said, she doesn't want her sister fighting for it, but I feel like we're still fighting for what our ancestors fought for today.
That's real.
Well said. Sandra, you want to answer any of that? I'm gonna come to you, Kiara. You want to answer any of that? And then I'm gonna ask I'm gonna throw the comment to. Many people have said exactly the same thing. Well, y'all had a black president. What do y'all want? So I really want y'all to talk about that, and Sandra address them, because I know your specialty through Ava Faircom is really this Haitian American millennial, but friends of Haitian Americans. So millennials across the board. So I know what you're feeling listening to a lot of these millennials talking about they're frustrated, they're disinterested. Please speak to that, and I'll go over to Katya and Kia. I'm coming over to you.
I think one of my college mentors said something to me that I will never forget. Count the small wins and make them count, right? And so often we don't, because it's not tangible, we don't see the progress, but there's small progress along the line. And I'll give an example, and this is not my example, this is examples that people have been talking about. 2-3 years ago, people could not be out here saying Black Lives Matter. Corporations are saying Black Lives Matter, right? It's a thing where when Trayvon Martin died, no one wanted to say that. No one wanted to say it 2 years ago. Now, people are like, if I don't say Black Lives Matter, these people might come for me, right? Yeah. And that may not necessarily that's not the end result that we want. But again, I think it's imperative that in this long run that we count the small wins. I even say, for instance, yeah, some of the fights look like our ancestors fight, but this wouldn't be possible for our ancestors. Like I have a master's degree. Many of Shirley has doctorate degree. Most of us will be educated on some level. We know how to read and write. We have our own bank accounts. We do what we want to do. We stay in our own homes, mortgages in our own names. This was not, this is not 20, 40, 50, 60, 80 years ago for women. And so not to say that we should be satisfied at all. I think that we have to look that there's been wins along the way in order to continue to give us hope to keep pushing. For sure, we're not where we are, but if we don't think about where we came from, I think it's definitely going to be depressing. We're never going to feel as if we've gotten somewhere. And I want to just again say we still have a long way to go. And I do believe that in my generation, we can see big change. I'm not talking about the generation after ours. I'm saying while we are alive, I think we can push and see changes that we want to see. I'm so crossing my fingers. I hope to see a Black woman on the Supreme Court. Like these are things that we can see in our lifetime. In our lifetime, white people are being called to task on murdering Black people. 50 years ago, they would have never even called them in. You know what I mean? Like, let's be frank about it. Like, lynching Black people was a whole thing, and no one had no apologies about it. It was a whole parade, right? And now they may get away with it, but they are getting called to task, right? And we're just trying to get it to a point where not only they're getting called out on it, but we also get our justice. And that's where I kind of stopped at. In terms of President Obama, I always say I'm a human being. When I'm in leadership as a person, people are gonna say Centra is great, and Centra has these things that they don't really care for. And Kasia just told us to live in what our truth is. I can only be Centra. I can't be no one else. And so I think President Obama was a win for us. And I think it was a shock to America's system that a Black man could get there. And I think this is the aftermath of that because we didn't hold it down. And I think it's a call to action for us so that when one of us gets in position, that we got to get in formation and make sure we hold that line. And we didn't hold the line, and we got tired, and we got comfortable, and we lost the Senate. And I don't want to get too political, but things happened, and here we are today. But America is getting browner. America is getting Blacker. This is where we're going to be, and they're going to have to figure it out because here we are.
Here we are. I like that. Holding the line. Katya, go ahead. Pick up from that.
Sure. I want to piggyback on that. I hope that in my lifetime, very soon, that I get to see a Black woman be the vice president of these here United States of America.
That one right there.
Look, I think that what Sandra said is right. We do have to count the small wins. We just can't get complacent in them. There's still a lot of work to be done. This is a country that we love. And like all things that we love, we want to see it be the best version of itself, right? We want to see America be its true self, live up to the promise of all man and women are created equal and should have equal rights. So that's really what we fight for. It isn't a disdain, unlike some people would like to believe. It isn't a disdain for the country. It is actually out of love because we want to see this country be exactly what it was meant to be in principle, right? Like we know that, when this country was founded, we were not free, but all men are created equal. And we want America to live up to that. So I can understand being tired of seeing these things. But to reiterate the point, we can't lay down. We can't lay down and just let it happen because it will happen, right? You guys pay attention to laws. You pay attention to what people are saying about us. And I made a comment that got a whole lot of reaction not too long ago. But if we don't pay attention and hold people accountable for certain behaviors, there are things in history that can repeat itself. When you take away the humanity of a group of people and you make that standard, you make that common, you end up with situations like you did during the Holocaust. That didn't happen overnight. You had a small majority of people that believed in something so profoundly that they went forth with very heinous behavior. But your real issue was You had people who may not have agreed with it, but they were silent. And you had people who weren't affected by it and they were silent. So it is upon us to make sure that history does not repeat itself, that we do not become belittled as a people, that people do not stop seeing the humanity in Black people, the humanity in Black women, and that every time someone says something that strips away at our humanity, that we speak up. Every time someone does something, whether we win that fight or not.
Right.
Sometimes the win is in making sure, like Sandra said, that it is acknowledged and that we are holding people to the fire. We can't let these joke, oh, it was just a joke, let's not take that seriously. You absolutely take it seriously when somebody minimizes the life of another human being. Every time. Every time this person should be held to the fire. Every time. And if somebody agrees with it, they should be held to the fire. Every single time these things happen over and history repeats itself, and the way that it happens is, you guys, is we let people strip our humanity away little by little.
Yep.
So we can't, we just have to. We just have to do it. And if people say, oh, you're angry, you're right. I am angry when my sister's murdered laying in her bed at night and you just bust through the door and you didn't even announce yourself. That does make me angry. It makes me angry to watch a video where you snuff the life out of my brother for no other reason besides you can. Absolutely, we should be angry. Absolutely, we should be unapologetic about being angry about it. But we should live our lives, of course, with joy. But don't let nobody, no one should be getting away with that type of behavior without being called to it. So that's where I stand on that issue.
Well said. Sandra, you gonna say something?
I think Katya nailed it when she said, there's this sided question about, are we ever going to be satisfied? Like, why are they still mad? And it's like righteous rage. Like, we have every right to hit the streets every time it's wrong. I mean, there's laws and policies that don't protect us. And the natural reaction is, listen, we're going to get some justice. And, me and my friend had a conversation last night, and I was just saying, it just does not, we just know us. There is no way in my mind that I believe a black couple heard the police come to their door. The police announced themselves, and the Black man and the Black woman was like, we're going to shoot the police. In what world? That Black people to run up on police in that kind of way. I don't know those folks.
Right.
I haven't heard that this Black man had records. They didn't have guns, aka they didn't have, I don't know anything that would have said to me, Black people, when police show up to the door, they're ready to fight, they're gonna kill them. I don't know that. And I tell folks that my Sandra, who I am so ready to believe Black people because I know what we've experienced. We've all experienced it. Right. We've been pulled over for no reason. We know brothers of ours who are in jail and they shouldn't be in jail. We know sisters who've been harassed. Like, this is not in our head. We believe it. And that's why it's so easy for us to be like, we're going to take the streets. Although none of us have ever met Breonna, but we know her story. Right. We get it. And so I think that don't let people say that's not okay, that you shouldn't feel rage. And also don't get tired from it. Every time it bubbles up, you act. Every time.
Absolutely. Because don't they never get tired of marching if you murder a dog. They never get tired of being upset because there are some endangered birds somewhere that are purple and green, and that's important for them to exist. And I absolutely do not believe in harming animals. I love pets, I love dogs. I believe that the environment is important, but I also want that same energy.
Yes, ma'am.
For Black people.
Yes.
I want that energy. I want that there is no understanding and no forgiveness when you murder dogs, when you abuse animals. There are people right now that are angry every time they see Michael Vick. Yep. But understand, I'm gonna keep that same energy. the same energy that other groups have for the things that they care about is the same energy that I have about the things that I care about. And to be completely honest, I don't have energy to care about the things that you care about until you care about the things that I care about.
See that right there. That right there.
I have
right
no
there.
energy to march up and down the street about some stuff that you care about if you don't care, if you are silent when they are murdering my brothers, my sisters, my sons, my nephews, my cousins, and that's what we all are. We are all family. If you can be silent during a time like that, then I don't have no energy for whatever it is you care about, because whatever it is you care about is not that important. And I stand 10 toes down on what I said. If people don't like it, they can be upset. Oh my God, oh my this. But nah, they raise millions of dollars to save birds. Millions of dollars to save birds.
Yep.
And those same people in the same breath tell me, oh, we don't take some of the stuff that racist people in very high positions say, that's just the way they are, but we have to look at their policy. No, I want you ladies to know we can look at their policies and we can look at what they say the same way that a lot of folks don't agree with and they don't feel happy or content with what President Obama did. I will forever be excited about President Obama because he made little Black girls and little brown boys believe that they too one day can become the president of the United States, just as a symbol of greatness. Yeah. So when you are the, I mean, it's all good. When you're the president of the United States and you tell racist organizations to stand by, that is a symbol of racism. That is a symbol. That is a symbol. You are sending messages to tell people that it is okay to be a particular way. And then you have a governor who then tries to put forth legislation that not only tells people that it's okay to murder and to be racist, it tells people that we are going to create laws to protect you if you do that. So when you hear people say, when you guys hear your friends say that, oh, I'm not voting because it's not important. Some of you are not ready to vote yet, but the day that you become eligible, I want you to register. And even if you are not eligible right now, the most important thing that we can do as Black women is vote. The most important thing that we can do as a community is encourage each other to vote. This is on us. We can't afford to not, speak what's important to us. Keep your voice. Jeannie, you said it, and I'm going to keep going back to it. Be unapologetic about what it is that you believe and know that you have a voice. The second thing is we have to exercise our right to vote. This is not the time to say that it doesn't matter. We live in a state where the last 2 statewide elections were lost by less than 1.5%. We're talking about 35,000 votes and 50,000 votes. Every single vote counts. And the other thing that we all know, y'all, is if it wasn't that deep, would they go through such lengths to make sure that we didn't do it? So that's that.
Kiara, you had a question or a comment.
Oh my goodness, it's a lot to take in. But I wanted to go back to when you guys are talking about how history repeats itself. And I feel like, yes, history repeats itself, but every time that history is repeated, we're more educated, we're more involved. So I feel like now it's repeating itself, but because we're coming to our senses, we're going to eventually change the history. And I don't think now is the time that people should give up. I feel like we should fight harder for our rights, fight harder for the injustices that we see today.
Not this time. We ready. We're solid and we're ready. I'm with you, Kara. We're ready. There's no way, not on our watch.
Jamie. You on mute.
I was just going to say, you hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
Okay, I was going to say, because they pretty much covered it all, but really going into depths about people that are in power. Because a lot of times you hear,
I think Jamie's a bit frozen.
I'm just wrong. You hear a lot of times white people say, oh, people. And I know a lot of times I feel like they should know that their complacency shows that there is an issue with that. You should have a with being how other people, different skin colors, are being treated. There should be an issue with that. So I feel like white people being complacent with that, there's an issue with that. But yeah, that's all I was gonna say.
Sandra?
I mean, two things. If you're not directly impacted by something, often you don't have to care about it. Like your uncles, your cousins, your money, it's not mixed up. They don't look like you. They don't sound like you. You don't know those people. I often say, and I say this to white people all the time, proximity matters. Like they say Miami, South Florida is such a mixing pot. And I often give the example of Kinsey's, Sweet 16s. You go to Kinsey, full of Spanish people. You go to a Sweet 16, Black people getting down. You go to bar mitzvah, only the Jews. How we live in Miami? Your friends don't have no Black people in their class? No Black people in your class? They ain't got no Spanish people in their class that y'all can have a all white bar mitzvah in Miami? That's because we just live all together, but we're not playing together. We're not getting to know each other. Yeah. And I think when you know people and you have experienced, you get a chance to experience what they're going through. Sometimes, because there are people who understand and they just don't care about us, right? And I'm gonna be frank about that. I don't want to convince anyone. I don't have time to convince white people that Black people, no. There's been enough studies. Thurgood Marshall was on the Supreme Court. There's been a lot already done. If you don't get it by now, you don't want to get it. But there's a lot around proximity that I always tell people, who are your Black friends? Not your work friends. Who do your children call aunties? Right? Because that's the test. Like, who's your Latinx friends? Like, proximity means something because we get to really understand what people are going through. And the other thing I'll add is, I feel like, when people are saying it don't really matter, or they're over it, or they don't want to vote. Listen, at the end of the day, you know who's going to be screwed up? We are.
Right.
It's us. Like, don't talk to me about not having jobs. Don't talk to me about college is too expensive. Don't talk to me about mandatory minimums in prison, because it didn't matter to you. And how long does voting take, y'all? Some precincts you might be a long time. My precinct, I'm never there for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In and out. You talk about 5 minutes. There are slate cars. People are willing to give you how when you was in school and you got friends who just know their stuff and they'll give you the whole test, like all the answers. There are elections where they will give you all the answers. You just gotta bubble in. How much do you want it? And you know what? Because even when it's easy, we don't want it. We're gonna pay for it every time on the back end.
Right.
We're not gonna have jobs. And let's be serious about COVID. And I'm gonna be quiet. We're dying. We're the ones without jobs. We're the ones that we got 2 state senators who's saying y'all don't deserve extra stimulus. We're the one affected. You know why? Because the rich is getting richer. You know who got their money? The big businesses.
Yep.
You know who didn't get their money? Our broke selves. So guess what? Now y'all mad because everybody's like, oh, I'm Ubering, I'm Lyfting, I got this money. Guess what? Everybody's been on pause. No money coming in. We're impacted. And so my thing is like, let's be serious about serious things. It could be cute, or so you say. It's not cute to me. But I'd like to tell people, and I just came out of this Haitian bakery today, and we were talking, and I'm just like, look, don't complain about minimum wage, because minimum wage is on the ballot this year.
Yep.
Don't come talk to us, say this $8 ain't gonna cut it. They're trying to get it to $15 in Florida. All you gotta do is vote for it. That easy. And guess what? These older folks, they don't have another 40, 50, 60 years. We do. Y'all don't want to fix the planet? It's raining, it's storming, it's fires everywhere. We gonna pay for it. We can't have no insurance on our houses because they won't fund it because it's flooded.
Yep.
We can't buy no houses in this area that we live in because private investors are taking them all off the market. It's on us. And I'm very passionate about it because look, a lot of us, we might be okay, but our families who don't get it, who haven't done it, they're gonna suck us dry. And it's gonna be this continuous cycle. And I'm just trying to be on Let's all rise together. And that means being serious about policies and politics. So that's where all the decisions are being made. You need money, you need power. I'm done.
Come on with it. Kiara and then Jamie.
Okay, so I definitely agree with Miss Santra said because a lot of people they want to complain, but they don't like they want to see change, but they don't want to help make the change. And when it comes to voting, not only can you go out and vote, but you can also get your ballot mailed to you. And the thing is that like people just it's an easy it's not an easy process, but you have to start with the basics. So if you don't want to vote, then you can't complain about the change. Like I don't get it. It's frustrating.
There she go, Jamie. Well said, Kiara.
I was gonna say yes, Kiara. Okay. I was gonna ask, should they lower the voting age, being that a lot of times these older people that are older than us don't like to vote, which I just is mind-boggling, it's baffling. But being that they don't like to vote sometimes, should they lower the voting age? Because I definitely would be at that poll in the morning, standing in the line. So I just wanted to know.
You know, funny enough, it's the young people who are not voting. Older people, they are the super voters. They're going to vote every time. They are consistent. Young people, voters. The Zers, millennials, those Katia friends, don't want to vote. Don't want to vote. All the Instagram models don't want to vote. It's them that don't want to vote. And again, I say to folks, you know, no judgment, Katia. I know you want to up and up. You voting, but you got to. We're all trying to convince. And me and Katia had this conversation. I won't go there because that was a great conversation, Katia. But I was at the bakery today again, and it reminded me, Black men are not. They're not interested. They're not with it. They're not feeling it. And I love Black men. I do with all my heart and soul.
Santra, let's talk about that right there, right? So our Black men are not interested, right? And again, we're not talking generally. We're just speaking about this, the experience you had this morning and you've been seeing as you're doing these voter engagement. Even after what we've seen with George Floyd, even after what we've seen in Portland, the 7 bullets to the back and so if even that isn't pushing them to vote to say that there needs to be a change, can we understand the level of frustration? So it falls right back on the Black women, even though we're the ones getting shot for them. But you know, that's another conversation. Go ahead, Santra.
I would say that this would have to be even a series to talk about things that we need to talk about. Like there's deep stuff.
Right.
And I think that I love Black men. I think Black men, Black women have experienced a lot. There's a lot of trauma there. And one thing that we do in Black communities a lot is we normalize trauma. We don't talk about things that we need to talk about. What I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is to Kiara's point. And I'm very simple. Don't come talk to me about the issues if you're not willing to do your part. You got to do your part or I can't engage you. You a joke to me, right? You all talk. And you know what we don't like is people who all talk and ain't got no hands. You know what the hands are? The hands are voting.
Yeah.
Can't be all talk, no hands. It's people who just talking and they can't. You get in and put them in a fight and they can't do nothing. And we're definitely not saying that voting is the solution.
Right.
We know that it is a tool in the toolbox to getting us there. We gotta have people who have our values, who have our belief systems in positions of power to legislate. That's the only way. Your 2 senators said we didn't need more money. What if we had 2 other senators there who believe that working people in Florida deserve more money? What if we had a governor who believed that we don't deserve to die?
Come on, Sandra. Kiara, go ahead. That point right there, Sandra. Go ahead, Kiara.
So, with Jamie's question about lowering the age to vote, I know that I'm 16, so I can't vote, but I know that I can help out by encouraging people around me to vote. Like, my family is so tired of me bringing up voting. I'm like, y'all need to go vote. Did you register this year? Because it's the fact that, like, I have people who live in the house with me, and if they aren't voting, then it's not helping out. So I need everybody. Last weekend, I went with this other group I'm part of, and we encourage people to register to vote and to take, like, the census ended, but we also encourage people to take the census. So it's like, even though I'm young, I'm still trying to be a part of it, if that makes any sense.
Well said. Jamie. She lagging again.
Kiara's point, I'm already pushing to vote. I was saying Kiara's point. I'm sorry, y'all. My internet, bear with me, please. I was gonna say to Kiara's point, I'm already pre-registered to vote. So by the time I'm 18, I should be getting my voter's card in the mail. And it only took like 5 minutes. It was this guy, we were visiting UCF campus, and this guy, he was just walking around with a clipboard saying, hey, do you want to pre-register to vote? And I was like, oh, yeah, I don't mind. Like, I was kind of skeptical because he
Jamie and this lagging.
security, but my papers came like 5.
Okay, I'm gonna
Can't
ask.
hear me now.
So you got your papers though, but you're gonna get your papers. It's legit.
Oh, I have my papers
Okay,
though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kiara.
And one last thing, I not only encourage the adults to vote, but I also encourage the youngers who are not able to vote to pre-register. Because when you pre-register to vote at 16 or 17, on your birthday, that card is there at the address that you put on the registration ballot. So I feel like you guys should register to vote, even though you can't vote now. It'll affect us when it's time for us to vote, because the next election we'll be voting. So please register to vote.
Oh, y'all smart.
Go ahead, Katya. And I'm coming to Katia.
I love it. I love pre-registering to vote. I love the motivating people to vote. We are pushing that everyone, touch 20 people. You have 20 friends. If you have cousins, neighbors, just making sure that 20 people that you know are eligible to vote, that just to make sure that they vote. This is really an opportunity for us to do our part. We have well over 2 million registered Black people in the state of Florida. If we all can just say, I'm going to make sure I got 20, me and my crew, me and the people I roll with, we share all kind of stuff, y'all. Like I say this all the time. We share jokes, we share memes, we share TikToks, we share hot tea, gossip. We do all of these things. It's time that we start sharing the responsibility of our civic duty. It's time that we share that is the energy that I want. Like we have 4 weeks till election day, and people can vote now. If you have your absentee ballots or your VBMs, those are short for the vote by mail ballots, you can vote now. So it's to the point where I don't even care who you vote for, honestly, because the more of us that vote, the more power we have as a collective. So it's really just about us making sure that we vote and making sure that people understand what we need as a community and advocating for that, regardless of who you vote for. Just when your person wins, say, hey, look, this is what my community needs. This is what's important to my community. And to Sandra's point, and to you guys' point, we do have a problem with our young men. It's me and Sandra have talked about it. It's much bigger than this, and it's layered and it's complex. But I would encourage you young ladies, get some dudes involved, get some guys involved in what you're doing, get them engaged. Let's shift this energy so that young Black men are just as engaged as you guys are. I went to an HBCU where, plug Clark Atlanta University. I went to a fantastic HBCU where I sat in classrooms with 20 students, and 5 were male and 15 were women. There's a side effect to that eventually in society, and I think that's where we are. We've hit that point. So
it's funny you say that, Katya, because even in this superior scholars group, there's only one guy.
Wow.
There's only one boy in this whole group, and phenomenal, extremely intelligent, but there's only one, right? So I agree. And whenever we're ready to have this discussion, Sandra, I definitely want to be a part of that series, because there's some real backstories that we need to address as a people, right, that have not been addressed. So I agree with you 100% on that one, Katya. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, I think we need to start being deliberate about being inclusive of young men and the work that is happening. We need to meet them where they are.
Absolutely.
We're women. We're more cliquish. We talk more. we're always willing. It just naturally, that's just who we are as women. But we've got to find a way to bring our young men and our brothers into the fold of this fight, because they are just as affected, if not more affected, because they're being murdered in the streets. They're having to watch images of themselves repeatedly being killed, repeatedly being told that their life doesn't matter, repeatedly having to deal with things that none of us have to deal with, because we're not big Black men, right? We're Black women, and we have our own things that we deal with. We get stopped by the police. We some of us get murdered by the police once we get stopped if we talk back. But we don't know what it's like to walk into a space and instantly be feared in such a way that a person believes that taking your life is the easiest and the best response to interacting with you. So we do have to find a way to have this conversation and to bring in our young men into the fold. But for now, we just need them to vote. If you have guy friends, make an extra effort when you're sending out that text message and being like, hey, did you vote? Hey, did you vote? Like, I've already made it clear. Don't talk to me after November 3rd if you cannot prove to me that you have voted. I don't want to hear from you. Don't text me. Don't talk to me. We ain't going on no trips together. We ain't taking no vacations together. We ain't eating. We ain't brunching. We ain't nothing. I need to see that I voted sticker or screenshot me that they received your VBM, period. And it's that serious for me. I don't need to know people who don't vote. And if I do know people who don't vote, either I failed in some way trying to get that message across, or you just decided that it doesn't matter to you. And if you decided that it doesn't matter to you, I take that personally, because we all have to live with the choices of the collective. That's what a democracy is. And so if you decide you don't want to be engaged in that, then what are we talking about?
Well said. Sandra, I saw you unmuting the mic. You got something you want to add?
I was going to say to Katya, I think, one, I definitely don't want to leave this conversation with folks feeling like there's some beef with women and men. Katya, I don't think you meant that at all, but I often think that's what people hear when we say something's going on. I think that y'all nailed it. I think in these spaces, in the civic spaces that I'm in, overwhelmingly women. And so something's going on, and they feel they need to talk about it in ways that we talk about what we're experiencing, what we're going through. I often say, listen, ain't nothing like having girlfriends. I wish men had girlfriends in the way that we have girlfriends. Because we listen, we will check each other in a second. We will tell each other we messing up. We will cry. We will be like, tighten up, like tough stuff. That's who we are for each other. And anyway, that point. And then the second point, to Katya's point, is like the democracy part is, then you don't care about me, and you don't care about my future, and you don't care about my children's future. And if that's how you live in, I take that personally. That's a personal like attack on me and the future that I want to have in these states. And that's how strongly we feel about voting. Like, if you want some stuff, look, there's grace. I know this is a journey. Everyone's not there right now. But if we're in your close 20 and you are like this, so what did Simba dad say? You are deliberately like out of line.
Out of line.
And you can't be in our formation pictures. You can't be in our formation trips. You can't be in our formation brunches because you're not in formation.
Come on.
So that's that.
So I know Katia and Steph, we've had this conversation about the whole Black Lives Matter. As you and your friends are looking at what's happening, I kind of want us, and I had to ask my producer, can we go another 10 minutes before he cut me off? As you and your friends are talking about this and the presidential debate, because we could not leave. In fact, I'm not going to put nobody's business out there, but there was a special lady who texted us like, we need to talk about this debate. I need to understand. We need to talk about this debate, what just happened. And I think when young people are reaching out after the debate, confused, concerned, then we should be concerned. So I first want to start with, Katia and Steph, because I know they're in different spaces, but they have a large group of friends. And then I'm coming to Kiera, because, Kiera asked one, and then I'm coming to you, Santra. So please tell us what you guys are hearing, what you guys are feeling, because as we talk about elections, we also, the whole objective today was to be, and I really would like, as we end towards the end, the next 5 or 10 minutes, so that we can really have a conversation about the moment versus the movement. And I think Santra and Katya have really made reference to it, but not forgetting the young people, because we're often having these conversations and not thinking about that next generation. So I want to start with Katia and Steph. What are you guys hearing, your level of frustration between the BLM and what you saw on that stage Tuesday night? How does it speak or not speak to you guys? And then we're going to go to Kiera to address that same question.
When it came to this debate, it was a bit frustrating. We were waiting to hear issues that affected us, student loans, women's rights, what's next? And it almost seemed like a punching match or toddlers going at it. It's a bit frustrating. We want to hear things that really focus on us and things that really matter to us. That's not going to deter us from going out there and voting, because, again, that's our civic duty. I think that's something that we fought for, our lineage fought for, our ancestors fought for. So I'm not going to give that right up just because I'm frustrated right now. But I do want to hear things that are going to affect me in the future and affect my family in the future and my children and their children.
Tia, you want to speak to
Very
that?
concerning. Yeah, it's very concerning when you're watching a presidential debate and like that's what comes up, and you're hearing like two adult men talk like literally, like Steph mentioned, like toddlers. So it's kind of just like, what's happening with the world? Like, is this really, when we were younger and we used to see presidents, you would think official, you would think professional, you would think sophisticated, educated. That's what you would imagine, that's what you would think. And then it's kind of like, okay, so these are our options right now. This is what we have to pick. But, at the end of the day, like, you have to take it out of your head that these are the options, but more so like, okay, with these options, what can we do? How can we move forward? With what we have, what can we do?
And who aligns closer to what we stand for?
Yeah, what are our views and what are they working with? How can we work from that and move forward? Because it's not only about the presidents, we have to also think about local elections and stuff like that, because that affects us directly too, how we live, how our community looks. So it's not something that should deter us, definitely, with it being that we have unqualified, what seems like unqualified candidates, in my opinion. But like, it just makes me think like, okay, so what's the next move? Like, how do we move on from here?
Great point. So I'm gonna go to Kiera, and then Jency, I'm gonna come to you. Go ahead, Kiera.
The only thing I have to say about the debate is to see somebody so bothered by what your opponent has to say, it's like either one of two things. You're not doing what you have to do in office, or you just don't know what he's talking about. So it was just, to me, it wasn't entertaining, but it was more so of an eye-opener of who we actually, well, not who I chose, I didn't choose him, but who they actually put into office. Like, why did you guys think he would be a good person to go into office to represent us as a country, So the debate made me think, and I'm like, yeah, we really need to get out there and vote, because this is not what I want for the next 4 years. This ain't it.
Jamie, and then I'm gonna go to Jency. Jamie, you want to add to that? Jamie's frozen. Go ahead, Jency.
I mean, there's nothing really to add. Oh,
Go ahead.
okay. I'm sorry, I'm lagging, y'all. I am so sorry. But I was gonna say that the political debate was just, I don't even know, there's no words to describe that. Like, it was like, I knew Trump would do something like that. Like, we've seen this for 4 years. It wasn't new. I mean, to see that, it just was like, that's him. Like, but I really, I think Biden tried his best, because at times when Trump would interrupt, he would focus and talk to the American people instead of tit for tat with Trump. And I really, and that's pretty much it.
Jency, and then James, and then Santra.
Well, for me, I'm not gonna lie, that was actually the first time I've watched a presidential debate.
And I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting something else. I actually don't know what I was expecting, but what I got was not what I expected, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but I definitely thought, same as Steph, I thought they were gonna talk about things that affect us, things that are affecting us right now. And it seemed more like it was just them going head to head, maybe them having that heated discussion that they've been wanting to have and they decided to have it on national television. I don't even know. But just to backtrack a little bit, when you all say it's a civic duty, I see it as a privilege. I see that you all have that privilege that I don't have. Like, I can't even vote just because of my age, because literally there is 11 million undocumented people that we can't vote just because someone said so, you know? And so it is a little bit frustrating when I hear people that are in my class, I hear people in my friend group, no longer in my friend group, but when they say, oh, I just don't want to vote, I don't have time, or I just don't want to, or for what? Like, when I hear those comments, it just makes me think, what else are you doing with your life? Like, it really makes me think, what are you so busy with that, you know, because some people get the whole day off to go vote. Some people have the early voting time because maybe they can't get the day off, but there are just so many options out there that it's just crazy to me when they just deliberately choose not to vote. And so I really hope that this time around there is a difference. I hope that, you know, the effort that we're putting in to push our friends, neighbors, peers in the classroom to vote, I hope that it does go in their head and, you know, actually put them to do something about it, because it's true. When you complain about it, why not change something? You know, why keep complaining about the same thing over and over? And that's one of the things that, you know, you have the ability to do, so to go out there and make a change. And yes, voting, like Sandra said, voting is not going to be the solution for everything, but it's a tool and it's at your hands and you can do something with it. So hopefully, like, whoever's watching this town hall, take those 20 friends or family members, take the time to send them a text message, call them up and tell them what you heard all of us talk about tonight. Our youth are on here talking about how they pre-registered. Like, they're already taking steps necessary to make a difference. And I hope that we do so too.
Well said, Jency. Sandra?
I know you got to wrap, but I just wanted to say, like, if this exchange happened in the school system, they would have got suspended. Like, this is grounds for discipline. Like, and to me, I think that could have never happened. I mean, I remember being in high school and people even tried to do that in class, and it was just like, immediate, you got to exit the building. And so I don't think that, you know, I said this morning on the BSS hour, I don't think we should let people off the hook for that. That was not okay. We're all embarrassed. You all are adults. Y'all could not talk to each other. One of the adults there is the president currently, and I'm still embarrassed. I said, you know, when you're a Haitian person, you easily embarrassed. My mom was easily embarrassed. Like, I was like, I could have hid underneath the couch. That embarrassed. And because everyone is watching this, and I mean, look, it just was a mess. And I think about students, I think about in ways that none of us could have ever behaved like that. I know how they talk about women. And if women would have went up there and behaved in that way, the headlines, yo. And so, like, to me, that's why we got to be like, never again, not on our watch. And Jency, I'm so sorry that's your first presidential debate, because let me tell you something. Right after that, there was a clip on YouTube, because I went back and watched a little bit of it. There was a clip on YouTube when Senator John McCain conceded to President Obama, and people have thoughts. I don't think McCain is the best senator. You know, everybody has their politics, but the way he conceded, and how he reminded people that, look, African-American, Black diaspora people, this is a moment for them, and we should celebrate that with them. because it's a win for the entire nation. Like, this is how people who are on opposite sides thought it was better for them. Even throughout when he was campaigning, do you all remember? You may not remember, but you can see the stuff on YouTube. Go and see other presidential debates, because this not it. I don't know what this was Love and Hip Hop.
DC version. Please do go watch another debate. We don't want to forever traumatize you. Please go watch another presidential debate.
Yeah, I was really surprised when he was talking back to the moderator. I was like, is he allowed to do that? And then
when the moderator said,
say, you want to switch seats? I was like, can he? Can you do that?
And you gonna talk about my child? Never.
I love it, Kiara.
This presidential debate wasn't it, but I do know that the vice presidential debate is on Wednesday. So I hope this one is a lot better than presidential debate, because at the end of the day, we're really looking at the vice president. So let's just hope that this is better than the last one, because I don't know what was going on.
I can't. Katya.
First of all, I live for Kiara in this moment.
Trust me.
I took some notes. I wanted to address a couple things. Someone said that they didn't talk about any of the issues that pertain to young folks, that pertain to people of color. And that's really because young people don't vote. It's like applying for a job. And the only people that you're paying attention to are the people that you know can help you get that job. And young people don't vote. 18 to 24, historically, you don't vote. That's why they don't talk about student loans. That's why they don't talk about issues that you care about. It's because you don't vote in large numbers. The second thing that someone said that I thought was very good is alignment. Vote for people that align with what you believe in.
Right.
Down ticket, local elections. I highly recommend everyone on this call volunteer on a campaign for a few days, for a week, for the whole campaign. It'll teach you so much about the process, regardless of what it is you want to do with your life. The other thing is, someone said that they have two candidates that they think are bad, and this is what we're left with. Don't be fooled by this misinformation campaign. And I think sometimes we all want to believe that we can't be duped, and we're not, like, oh, I do my research. I have seen in the past 2 weeks more falsehoods on YouTube, on social media, being spread by people, and it's misinformation, right? Like, I even saw something where it was someone debated me to the end that, what was it, Joe Biden called Black people super predators. That never happened. Let me say that again. That never happened. It never happened. And people were referred to as super predators by Hillary Clinton. There was a bill that was proposed because there was a time where there was something called crack cocaine that was destroying Black families, that was destroying our communities. And they made laws that had adverse reactions and an adverse effect to Black people because we are over-policed. It wasn't intended, oh, this is what happened. No, this was supposed to solve something, and what it did was create another problem because we're over-policed. So we have to look at why we're over-policed. But let me say this again so that people can understand this. Never has this man called Black people super predators. And we should never assume that when people are having conversations about criminals and predators or anything of the sort, that they're referring to Black people. That's an assumption that we're making about ourselves. That is an assumption that we've allowed other people to make about us. We should be talking about not being over-policed. The man never said that. It did not happen. But we are quoting it as though it is fact. So I say that to say that this is a misinformation campaign. And if someone is 20 years old and this is the first time they're going to vote in a presidential election, you don't remember Joe Biden as the vice president. And nobody had our first Black president's back like Joe Biden. So no, we are not making a choice of the lesser of two evils. That's not what's happening here. We are choosing between a racist and a non-racist. To be absolutely clear, And when we talk about, I just kind of want to hit these so that people don't forget, so that we know what we're talking about.
Make it plain. Make it plain.
When we talk about, oh, he let Black people out of jail. This man let Black folks out of jail. He did. Obama did too, more than he did. But he also appointed over 100 federal judges that have lifetime appointments, and none of them look like nobody on this call right now.
Nope.
They are all uber conservative. They are all white men, and they all believe in one thing, and that is white supremacy. And if we think that is not true, the man told them to stand by, and he would not denounce racism. I don't have no other point of contention with you. There is nothing else that you could do to make me believe in anything that you were doing if that is what you were saying. And we need to understand that we are going to look back at this election and the past election, and it will be a shift. We will have seen a shift in American history. This is a step backwards when we are allowing people and saying that we can pass legislation that will allow you to run Black people over in the streets and not go to jail and not be held liable. I just want everybody to know what's happening right now. I want you to know that that Supreme Court justice, I felt so emotional when Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, because I understand, and I want everybody to understand what this means. There are protections in place for us that exist because the Supreme Court supports it. When you have a Supreme Court that acts in advocacy against the things that protect us, we have a problem. We are in danger. And you don't want to seem like, oh my God, you're being so extra. This is real. And this is happening in real time. And this is happening in front of us. And we are believing things that we see, and we are not doing our research. And we're saying stuff like the lesser of two evils. No, that is not what this is. Do you know what I mean? Like, we let that slide with Hillary, and now we got this man. We can't let that slide. This is not the lesser of two evils. This is a racist and a non-racist. This is a man who refuses to say that people who are okay with murdering you because you are Black or brown are good people. There are good people on both sides. The nerve and the audacity. Nah, dog, this ain't two people. And then the other thing that I think is important is, y'all, we just must vote. And I leave y'all on that. We gotta vote. We gotta hold people accountable. Grab your 20. I'm gonna grab my 20. Let's make sure we do what we do, because we will look back at this. We will look back at this moment. We will look back at 2016, and this is history. This isn't 1990. This isn't 1996. This is real history that we are living through. We are watching it, and we cannot be complacent, and we cannot allow people to be complacent. We have to make people uncomfortable.
Wow.
When I look back really quick, when I look back at from history, when I look back, I'm gonna remember I had my 20. I did my part. I'm gonna sleep well.
That part.
I'm gonna sleep well. I'm not gonna toss and turn. I did my part. We just hoping that you not up all night anxious and nervous because you ain't do yours. Get your 20.
So as these women give us their closing arguments, I really wanted to remind us of why we were all here, right? We wanted to talk about exactly what the title of this was, right? Teen Chats, Our Moments, Their Future. And we have really addressed everything that this moment has been about, hoping that it's not just a moment, but a movement. So I'm kind of going to add, but particularly thinking about how the decisions we make now will in fact impact our youth now, their children, and their children to come. So as we wrap up, I'm going to I'm gonna go through my team, and then we'll finish with Santra. Jency, any closing remarks?
Yeah, my closing remark is get your 20. That's it, period. Just get your 20. 20, it's not that hard. The 20 that you would invite to brunch, the 20 that you would have at your dinner table. I know you have at least 20 contacts in your phone. And that's it. Happy Sunday.
Tia and Steph.
Just please vote. That's it. Just that simple. Vote.
Same here. Please vote and get your 20.
Get your 20. Kiara.
I just want to say vote because it's the start of the change that we want to see. And the decisions that you make today, tomorrow, or in 5 years, it will affect us as well as your people. So just vote.
Jamie.
Okay. I just want to say first off, thank you for giving like the younger people a platform. Okay. I was saying thank you for giving the younger people a platform where we can express ourselves and let these older people know how we feel. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And vote for me, please, because I can't vote right now. So since I can't, I want you to vote for me. So, because 4 years down the line, when I get that voter ID, trust me, I'll be at the poll. But for right now, I'm gonna need you to vote for me. Okay, please, my future, please, please.
Thank you, Jamie. Santra.
I mean, my closing thoughts would be that, I mean, everyone could be the change in their little corner of the world. You ain't got to be a Sandra. You ain't got to be a Katya. All you got to be is yourself. And you could do your part. And Katya made it clear, we're asking folks to get their 20, your crew. Make sure they know what they need to know. And actually, on a previous conversation, Katya said, you know, you are the one in your community, in your family. You might be the one who got to give them the answer sheet. This is what we're doing. Here's your answer sheet. Let's get it done. And if you are the one, you're the one committed, you're the one paying attention, do your part so that we can get it done. Everyone has a role to play. You ain't got to be up front. You ain't got to have the microphone. Everyone has a role to play, and everyone should be asking themselves, what are they doing to make this better? Everyone can vote. We could do another step and get some more people to vote. Yeah. And so I'm just making sure that everyone can do their part. And it is not a moment. It is a movement. And we are going to look back in history. And I'm going to say again that I'm going to sleep well because I did my part.
So I really want people to know U-Turn really wanted to not do the whole election thing because there were so many people already doing this body of work, right? We know our space and we wanted to stay in our lane, but we were absolutely supporting the work that other entities and other partners were doing. But after Tuesday's debate, it became absolutely clear to me that my silence and the silence of U-Turn would make us complicit to the foolishness that's going on, specifically as it related to how our youth were seeing it. And then I promised I would keep her name out of it, but I got to give her a shout out. I think Kiara's text to me, what are we doing? And we need to talk about this, really just said to me, something needed to be done. We needed to give our young people a platform, if for nothing else, but to remind people what's on the ballot. So as a result of all of our conversation, I want to give us a couple of points on us. If you choose not to vote for yourself, because you don't see nothing important, you don't want to go between, as Katya says, is not the lesser of two evils. Allow me to help you remember just a couple of things that are on the ballot as it relates to our young people. Their education is on the ballot. Our children's health is on the ballot. Youth and police relations is on the ballot. The school to prison pipeline, as it relates to criminal justice reform, that's on the ballot. Their mental health is on the ballot. A Black woman is on the ballot. Diversity is on the ballot. And if none of that matters to you, racism is on the ballot. So
Amen,
I thank you
sis.
for joining us. I thank you for being a part of this conversation. And let's remember their lives matter. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you. Y'all know I love y'all. Until we meet again. Y'all have a good one.
Okay, sis.
I'm learned from the best, sis.
Listen, all of that. I need that energy all day.
Wait. Thank you, ladies. I know I'm gonna start losing some of you guys as we shut it down.
Hey, I just want to say, I think you ladies were phenomenal. You made my day. I'm super, super happy. I'm usually like, you know.